the final project. And yes, I know my fingers were really far down. So we left off doing this, and I showed you guys how to stack buildings. So next, what we're going to do is we still have space here. Why, we could leave that blank, or we could turn this into some like little play yard or something. We can also add another building. I want to show you guys how to add a building to a spot like that. I can show you how to do a play area kind of like on the other side later. So I'm going to go in a little closer. So there we go. So just like with this building, the first thing actually that we're going to do with this one is determine how tall it's going to be. I'm going to bring it in here, line up with the edge of the paper. I'm leaving room between the building, the first building, and the second building, because buildings usually have space between them. So I'm going to make this one slightly taller. And just like before, because my ruler curves at the very end, I'm going to move it to make it work very well for me. Okay. So now I'm going to come here. I'm going to line this up with the vanishing point. Draw to about there. Maybe stop there. Then I'm going to line up with the bottom of my paper and stop right there. So that's the beginning of my second building. So what I'm going to do is line up where these two lines meet with the edge of the paper, draw a line, and I'm actually going to not draw all the way because I want to let it go off the paper, so I need to move my ruler because of my curved ends. Then I'm going to come in, touch this, line it up, move it out a little, keep it lined up. Now, while I'm erasing most of the road I drew, I still have to leave that little bit that's there, these two lines. So we don't see the bottoms of these buildings, so we don't have to worry about it. But generally, if we were seeing the bottoms of these buildings, we would have to have this leading line back. But we don't see that bottom corner, so it's fine. So there's that. Now you'll start building backwards. So I'm going to concentrate on one side first. I'll come here. I'm going to make this one a smaller building. So it's not going to go past the top of this one. It's going to be almost like a storefront. But I'm always lining up with that vanishing point. And always, always, always lining up with the edges of the paper. Okay? This way, I'm going to come in, line up with the edge of the paper, line up with that. I'm going to let that go to here. It's going to stop, so imagine it stops like right there. If you need to put an imaginary stopping point like what I just did, you can. So I put my imaginary stopping point here while it was still lined up to give me an idea of where I'm going to lead this next line. I'm going to line up with that and go like that. I'm not going to draw to that little imaginary stopping point directly because I don't see that part of the building through the other building. Well, line this up. Try not to do what I just did. Always lining up, always lining up. Remember, we're not lining these two things up because that makes a diagonal line. And we do not want that. We want a vertical, horizontal, well, vertical's up and down. My bad, straight horizontal line. And then that would be the next building. Now, you're going to notice I did something. I made sure that this was not lining up with this corner or that corner, and that was on purpose. Same with this. I made sure it didn't line up with this or this, and that was on purpose. I also made sure this didn't line up with this little area. So that's on purpose. It doesn't look right if you try to line them up. Now, if I'm trying to draw a building here, so I showed you how to overlap here. Here, come in, line up, leave a little space like we did down on the other part. Draw your building. Decide how tall you're going to want it. Lead it back to your vanishing point a little bit, but we know that this building is only going to be that wide because that's where our sidewalk is. Now, we can decide, okay, this one's going to be this wide. I'm not going to go from where I ended my line to there. That is not right. We go from where these two lines meet, line up with the edge of the paper. I'm going to go ahead, erase the things that you won't be able to see, make it less confusing. Line this up with the vanishing point. Lead it back, then go to where these two lines meet. Line up with the edge of the paper and draw to it. There you go. Now, this building looks done, but it is not done. So, if you look, this side looks fine. This side, though, looks like it's just kind of falling off into space. What you do is you have to grab right here where that line, those two lines meet. Line up with the edge of your paper and draw a little line to the front of the building. What this is it kind of gives you these little alleyways, and you can erase what you don't need so you can see it a little bit more. Then you would just continue filling in. If you want to make a very, very busy city, you could. If you wanted to add a park, you could. It's just you'll have more details, and with more details, you could end up with rounded items. Those rounded items can look a little wonky at times. So you'll just keep going. When I'm done filling in, or I'm going to show you here real quick. So if we have a building that's kind of covering up like this is. So we're going to be kind of focused in this area. I'm trying to keep it where you can see this and the vanishing point. So this is my sidewalk. This is the top. I know that. I know that I roughly stopped my building here. So my next building would probably be about here. That's okay. So if I want to draw a building that's going there, I'm going to use my estimates. Then I'm going to come in from the top of that. And there it is. That is the first line. Once again, I'm avoiding lining up one line with another line because it makes it look very wonky if you do that. Now, I come in, line up with the edge of the paper. Then I finish out my top here. Try not to erase my sidewalk there. So I won't see this part. I will see that other side. Very, very slightly, but I will see it. Then I'm going to take this, line up with the bottom of the paper, draw to the top of that building because the road goes a little bit below that, and there we go. I will probably end up putting one more building here and then starting to fill in the rest of it. When I have a next section to show you, I will record it. If I decide to do like a baseball field or a park, I will stop and I will record it for you.